Welcome to Big Daddy Story Time. We're reading Walt Disney's Mickey Mouse and Minnie Storybook Collection. Do you see Minnie going there? Hi, everybody. And there's Mickey going, Hi, everybody. This is Pluto. Woof, woof, woof. And there's Daisy down there. Hi, 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 hi. There's Goofy. Gosh, how you doing, me? Goofy, how you doing? And then there's Donald going, and he's like, oh, so let's see some more about the stories. Yay! Okay, there's Donald Duck, and the buried treasure. Do you see that? And it's also Walt Disney's Mickey and Minnie. And so there we go. We're going to read about that. Do you see Donald go in there? Wow, 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 wow. And then the Huey, Dewey, and Louie are going, Uncle Donald, look, 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 look. We got buried treasure. And so we're going to learn about the buried treasure. Okay, let's do it. One afternoon, Donald Duck and his nephews, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, were taking a drive. Oh, isn't that great as a family? Soon they found themselves going through a small village near the water. There's a small village. Do you see it in your mind? You do great. Suddenly, Donald slammed on the brakes. Eee! What's wrong, Uncle Donald? Asked the boys. Donald pointed to a sign by a shop and said, "Genuine maps, 15 cents." Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you see that there? Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And there's Donald Duck. And there's the place that sells genuine pirate maps. Do you see that? Genuine pirate maps for 25 cents. Who's that there? That's Pete. And he's the map seller. Look at there's a pic, there's all the different stuff, and there's Donald paying him a quarter to get a map. So let's read down here a little bit what happens. Pirate treasure, the boys yelled. Yippee, yippee, yippee. That's all three of them saying that. Can we get a map? Uncle Donald, please, please, please. Donald went inside the shop and found the storekeeper, whose name is Pete. We know that. Are you looking for a treasure map? The shopkeeper asked shyly. Oh, are you looking for a map to a buried treasure? Donald nodded yet. Huh? Yes, 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 yes. And the man handed him a map. Here you go. Only a quarter. And so we're going to get to see what happens on the next page. Then, because a treasure hunter needs things besides the map, the shopkeeper sold Donald a shovel. Here you go. That'll be such and such. And a pickaxe. Here you go. That'll be such and such. And Donald goes cha-ching, cha-ching. That's what it says. And a compass. Cha-ching. That's more money going to the shopkeeper. Ropes for the hauling up of the treasure. There's some more cha-ching. More money that he's getting. And the sacks for carrying it home. Cha-ching. So he got not only a quarter, but all the different stuff that he sold Donald and Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Last of all, he rented Donald the biggest boat at the dock. Cha-ching. So he made a lot of money just off that quarter. In no time, Donald and his nephews were rowing out to the island on the map. Row, 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 as we go, go, go. They're singing and they have all the stuff. Do you see Pete has sold Donald shovel, axe, pickaxe. Then there's a bag, rope, and all pan. And then there's basically a rowing boat with rowing oars. And then there's Huey, Louie, and Dewey holding the map that they bought for a quarter. And there's the island over there with a beautiful sun. And I know you see all that. So let's see what's on the next page. There's Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and Donald. They're all looking at the map. And do you see the map? While we're reading, you can look at the map. And you could also look over here. What's going on, too? Look for the forked tree. Do you see the forked tree over there? Take 10 paces north. So they went 10 paces, 10. Then dug. Dig, dig, dig. Donald read. Donald and his nephews looked around for the tree. There it is! There it is! Huey yelled. Let's go! And at the tree, they took 10 paces north and began to dig. Dig, dig, dig. But there was no treasure, none. Empty, empty, empty. They dug 10 paces to the west, over, dig, 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 and 10 paces to the east, dig, 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 on both those north, east, and west. But still there was no treasure, empty. All these holes are empty. And so let's see what happens on the next page. But you see all this stuff and all the trees and the beautiful stuff, don't you? Yeah, okay, let's see. Ah, there's Donald going. Donald was furious. He threw his shovel and glanced at the treasure map. Boom! That's not good to have a bad temper like that. We should always think and ask our mommy and daddy and all that if we're kind of frustrated to help and stuff. But tempers are bad because then you're not thinking good and you have to always think good. And that's a good thing. This map is fake, he says. He's like, oh. There is no treasure buried on this island. Phooey! But his nephews had heard something. Shh! They whispered. Don't make a lot of noise, Uncle Donald. We think we hear something. Let's see what they hear. Don't shout, Uncle Donald. You'll scare the ghosts away. Do you hear that? They're going, well, you'll scare the ghosts away. Donald blinked. He blinked. What ghosts? He asked. He's like skeptical, going, oh, what ghost? What ghost? Then Donald heard it, too. Clink, clink, clink. There's no such thing. Basically, he goes, there's no such a thing as a ghost. Donald said. His voice started to shaking a little bit. He goes, I think there's no ghosts. And then he goes over where his nephew, as are Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and then he looks over the hill. So let's see. His nephews weren't so sure. Slowly they creeped up a hill, following the noise. So they're creeping up slowly. They don't know if there's a ghost up there or not that goes, woo! They're not sure about that or not. So all they hear is clink, clink, clink. So let's see what the clink, clink, clink is. The boys looked down and saw people digging over the island. So there's people that got the map too, and you see them right there. And the person who sold it to them said, these are where it is, these are where it is, these are where it is. And they're all digging, trying to find the pirate treasure. Each had a treasure map. Do you see that? They're like, each had a treasure map. Donald's like, oh man, we thought, and oh, this is not fun. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. He goes, and he's just yelling. He yelled it. These maps are fake. I guess the joke's on us. Okay, boys, let's go home. At the boat, Donald tried to pull up the anchor. He tugged, and tugged, but it wouldn't budge. Oh, why isn't this budging? Come on. I'm pulling. He's like, boy, come over here, boys. And they're probably trying to hold the boat. You see how it's splashing over there? Finally, with one last pull, the anchor came out of the water, bang, on our whoosh, bringing with it a big iron chest. And then it went splat right on into not splat into the water, but clunk right into the boat. And he's like, what's this, boys? And we're going to get to see. They're like, this is cool. Let's see. Donald lifted the pickaxe. Stand back, kids, he cried with the first swing. So he went back really far and went whoosh with the axe, and crack. The old lock on the chest snapped. Snap. Donald slowly lifted the lid. Inside were hundreds and hundreds of gold and silver coins. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wow. Do you see the silver coins? Do you see that? Do you see that? That's amazing. And they're like, whoa, look at that buried treasure there. And they're like, we found it, we found it, we found it. We found it, we found it. The nephews shouted, it's real. It's a real pirate treasure. Look at all the gold and silver and everything. Hundreds and hundreds of them. I knew we would find it, Donald said, exclaiming. He's like, I knew we would find it as a team. Donald quickly rowed back to the mainland. Row, 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 as we go, go, go. Just 1 second, boys. So they finally got there, and they're at the dock, and they're outside. They unload the treasure, and they're about to what? The 1 second, boys. He said as his nephews brought the treasure to their car. So the nephews are going, and then they finally get it into the trunk. Clunk. There's something I need to do, and Donald's like, I'm going to do one thing because it's the right thing to do. Do you see him over there? The boys are loading it. Donald's going to do something about, we'll see what it is. I can't tell you. I want you to find out. Turn the page. Donald walked into the store, dropped a gold coin into the shopkeeper's hand. He walked in there. The door opens. And then there might be a ding. So there's ding dong. And then the shopkeeper comes over and probably goes, what do you want? You need something else? You need an axe? You need something here? Nah, Donald says. So he walks over. The shopkeeper puts his hand out, probably for money or something, and he drops it right in his hand, kerplunk. And now it's a shiny gold coin he's sharing. Thank you for the map, he said, and walked back out. So Donald was nice. He shared a coin with the shopkeeper. Donald waited outside. A second later, the shop door flew open. Wham! And the shopkeeper ran out. Run, 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 run. He had a shovel in one hand and the map in another, and a map in the other. They really are genuine, he cried. That's what Pete said, who's the shopkeeper. They really are genuine. They really are genuine. And so Donald shared one coin with him, and so it was nice, nice, nice. Okay, let's see. We got to actually, now they're going to do one thing as he runs to the boat and he starts rowing. Donald and Huey and Dewey and are his nephews watch the shopkeeper hop into his boat, like what we just said. Good luck, Donald yelled. Happy hunting, cried Huey, Dewey, and Louie. The boys waved goodbye, and then they all went home to count their genuine pirate treasure. Do you see that? So they're wishing him good luck and saying, you know what, enjoy the coin that we gave you and shared with you. And Pete's rowing out there, and there might be other treasure. You never know. And so what have we learned? We learned the fun of sharing, caring, and giving. That's what Donald, Huey, Dewey, and Louie did when they gave a gold coin to the shopkeeper. Isn't that cool? Always remember to like, favorite, and subscribe, and come back to Big Daddy Storytime for more videos. And Big Daddy Storytime loves you, my friends, and have a wonderful and happy day. Be blessed. Bye-bye.